Lore Warrior Online Double Feature, MLN-1A Merlin Original. Overview. MechWarriors hailed the Merlin as a breakthrough when it was introduced in 3010, not because it offered advanced features, but because the Merlin was one of the first new mech designs to be produced in the Inner Sphere in several centuries. Rugged and reliable, the Merlin is suitable for a variety of assignments. Its versatility makes it a popular choice in the periphery and with mercenary units throughout the Inner Sphere. Capabilities. In designing the Merlin, its engineers sought to create a battle mech that would stand up to hard use, serve multiple roles, and that could be easily repaired using commonly available parts. They succeeded on all counts. The Pitban 240 engine gives the Merlin speed comparable to most heavy machines used in the Inner Sphere, and the 10 plus tons of armour offers protection adequate for most situations. A balanced mix of long and short-range weapons makes the Merlin versatile enough to handle mechs and infantry with ease, and its jump jets provide satisfactory mobility. Deployment. The largest concentration of Merlins in active service belongs to the mercenary unit known as the Wolverton Highlanders, who have spent the last 10 years hunting pirates along the border where Steiner and Marek Space and the periphery meet. Though the Merlin does appear in-house units, those militaries usually can afford more specialised units, specifically tailored to the type of tactics these troops favour. Because mercenary troops must be prepared to accept any number of assignment types, they tend to purchase mechs that can handle many tactical styles. Variants. In 3052, Alliance Defenders Limited of the Outworlds Alliance signed a licensing agreement with Mountain Wolf to build the Merlin for the Outworlds military. In 3053, Alliance Defenders introduced the Merlin 1B. This model removes the machine gun and machine gun ammo, adds another heatsink, and removes the LRM ammo from the CT, and moves it to the left torso. 3058 Upgrade. Overview. In 2945, House Marek forces destroyed the Mountain Wolf Battlemech's factories on Vendrell. Decades later, Brandon O'Leary, grandson of Mountain Wolf's last CEO, re-established the company as a manufacturing concern by setting up shop in, of all places, the Outworlds Alliance. The first design off the production line in 3010 was immediately hailed as a technological breakthrough. Not because it offered advanced features, but because the Merlin was the first totally new mech design to be produced in the Inner Sphere in over a century. Capabilities. The Merlin was designed to stand up to hard use, serve multiple roles, and be easily repaired using commonly available parts. The Pitban 240 gives the Merlin speed comparable to heavy mechs commonly encountered during the Third Succession War era, and over 10 tons of armour that's adequate for protection. A balanced mix of weapons makes the Merlin versatile enough to handle mechs and infantry with ease, with the Magma Hellstar PPC and Martel medium lasers being proven systems that veterans of the Succession Wars agree are all well worth the price. The inclusion of Pitban LFT-50 jump jets makes the Merlin surprisingly agile. Mountain Wolf Battlemechs received some criticism for not including hand actuators in the design, but the company countered with the argument that their decision simplifies maintenance and allows the medium lasers to be mounted in the core of each forearm, where they receive maximum protection. Deployment. Rugged and reliable, the Merlin is suitable for a variety of assignments. While it rarely appears in house units, many mercenary commands have been attracted to the relatively inexpensive design. The Merlin has served honourably in mercenary ranks the length and breadth of the Inner Sphere, even against the technologically advanced clans. Its robust design has proven surprisingly effective. The Merlin is the heaviest design commonly available to the Outworlds Alliance ground defence arm, with Alliance Defenders producing the mech locally, the AGDA having used the heavier mech to stiffen the ranks consisting mainly of locusts and stingers. These upgrades came none too soon for the sorely pressed troops of the AGDA, who were under ever-increasing pressure from raids by unidentified bands of periphery raiders. Variants. In 3053, Alliance Defenders introduced the Merlin 1B. This model removes the machine gun and ammo, adds another heatsink, and moves the LRM ammo from the centre torso to the left torso. Contact with Clan Snowraven has given the Outworlds Alliance a much-needed technological boost. The Lushan Industries plant, already renowned for the quality of their lasers, has been able to produce more advanced extended range models. Packaged into a field upgrade kit by 3068, these upgrades have started to make their way into the field, with the new 1C model replacing the medium lasers of the 1B with ER medium lasers. Notable mech warriors. Lieutenant Colonel Gavilan Gabi Camacho. Gavilan Camacho lived for years in the shadow of his talented sister Patricia, and for years after her death at the hands of the Smoke Jaguars, the Caballeros had little confidence in his abilities. However, since the fighting on town, Gavilan has matured, serving under his father, the redoubtable Don Carlos Camacho, as executive officer of Camacho's Caballeros, also known for the 17th Recon Regiment. His battlefield performance against the Ghost Bears has succeeded in winning over many of his critics. To the surprise of many, when given the opportunity to replace the red-tailed hawk, his venerable Shadow Hawk, Gavilan chose a Merlin instead of one of the larger designs salvaged on town. After over a decade of breakdowns and glitches, he quickly came to appreciate both the simplicity and reliability of his new machine. Chairman Janet Rice. Given command of the Alliance Grenadiers, Chairman Rice was handed the unenviable task of transforming the Grenadiers from rabble with little skill, and even less morale, into an effective combat unit. Although still very green, new equipment, intensive training, and battlefield successes against ever-increasing bandit raids have all done wonders for the morale. The daughter of a wily old periphery trader, or Curitan oil merchant as he was sometimes called, Rice lives by the old adage that if something is too good to be true, then it isn't. As such, she is deeply suspicious of the motives of Clan Snowraven, and she fears that in the long run, they will prove a bigger threat to the Alliance than the worst of the periphery scum. The Merlin. Quite a storied machine in Battletech's history, but we'll get to that in a minute. We have the stats. So the original 3058 book covers it with a mass of 60 tons, with the chassis being the Heavy Star QAT-4, with a Pitban 240 power plant, a cruise of 43 and a max speed of 65, with its Pitban LFT-50 jump jets for 120 metres. It has armour provided by Longanecker Plastisteel, with an armament being a single Magna Hellstar PPC, 2 Martel Model 5 medium lasers, 1 Holly LRM5 rack, 1 Zippo flamer, and a single Sperry Browning machine gun, manufactured by Mountain Wolf Battlemechs with their primary factory on Alpha Rats. Its communication system is a Magistrix Alpha, and its targeting and tracking is a Magistrix Gamma. The other one, I don't think changes anything really with the write up there, which is kind of rare for this book, both having the same information. So, the Merlin, it's Battlemech, obviously, so no Omni technology going on here, but it has a armor value of 9 on the head, 26 on the CT, 11 on the rear, 18 on both side torsos with 8 on the rear, and 16 armor on the arms and 19 armor on the legs. It can walk 4, run 6, and it can sink 18 heat with its single heat sinks. It comes with a PPC in the right torso, medium lasers in both left and right arm, an LRM5 in the right torso with around 24 rounds of fire, a single machine gun with just a single ton of ammo, a flamer in the left torso, and its jump jets located in the legs. Now, the original art, which will be in this video at some point, it's an unusual looking mech. It's not the prettiest, it's a bit gangly, it's wide, but it's unique, it stands out. I like it. I don't dislike the original Merlin at all. And at some point in this, I'm going to bring up the artwork of the Il Clan recognition guide version, and good god, did it get chunky. And I don't dislike this either, but holy Christ, it's on the roids. This thing got big. I mean, you know, when they say skip leg day, fucking hell, it didn't in this one. Wow, it got a redesign. So yeah, the history with the Merlin is it's one of those mechs that was created originally to demonstrate mech construction rules, basically for anyone who wanted to create their own battle mech within the tabletop game. And so in the very, very original book that was called Battle Droids, rather than Battle Tech, before the whole, oh shit, Lucasfilm's going to sue us, that had the rules for creating a mech, and the example one was the Merlin. It existed, it was mentioned through numerous books for years, going from like Battletech 2nd edition, I believe it was mentioned in one of the Combat Operations books, one of the earlier ones, but it didn't get a TRO write-up until all the way down the list. And if I double check the original, when did the original book come out? Let's see. The original, 1995 is when the Merlin finally got a technical readout entry, which is just insane for a mech that has been around for so long. in BattleTech. I believe there was. You could still obviously use the one from the construction rules, so that was basically your only existent sort of quick record sheet. If you ever wanted to use a Merlin in a game, that was your only way to go to, because you couldn't just go to a page in a TRO. You'd have to completely separate book. And the Merlin is great. It was one of those mechs that you could also say was used extensively as a trainer, because of the fact that it basically comes with virtually one of every weapon system. It's got energy, it's got machine gun, it's got missiles. So you could say that it was a heavy trainer for a lot of pilots coming up through like academies and some of the larger, more well-developed mercenary companies and gear like that. So it works perfectly for that. 60 ton is pretty decent. It's not breaking any records. It's not trying to be the be all end all type heavy, but at 60 ton, it's a decent amount of maneuverability. It's got an okay amount of armor. It's got weapons that can attack at all ranges. It's a pretty good, all-round machine. And it's decent enough that you could say that it's something that a player could get hold of, their first heavy, for instance, or it's like an enemy that can, it's a bit versatile. So as the GM, you can use it to give players a little bit of a challenge, so to speak. But yeah, I quite like the Merlin. It's always been one of those machines that I've always thought like, oh, it'd be cool to have a mini of it, and I believe it's getting a mini in the next. Oh god, you know what? There were so many in the original Catalyst Kickstarter, but if it isn't getting a mini in this one, I think it's getting a mini in the new one that's going to start this month sometime in the Kickstarter. So yeah, holy Christ! If it'll be based on this new artwork. Bloody hell, that thing is fucking, it's jacked. The thing's built. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good week, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye bye.